The primary visual cortex, also known as the V1 or as the striate cortex, has various functions relating to how we perceive our world. In the V1 specifically, information is sent to layer 4, and from there it can be sent to various other layers. The V1 is organized retinotopically and is so precise that we can pinpoint the cortex region that corresponds to a single degree of the visual field. It is organized so that the left visual field is represented on the right side of the cortex, and the right visual field is represented on the left side. This is important because it allows us to look at brain activity and know what part of the visual field is being looked at. The primary visual cortex has 3 types of cells that respond to different types of stimuli. First, we have simple cells, which respond to bars of light in a preferred orientation. Complex cells are slightly different. They also respond to bars of light, but respond best to ones moving in a specific direction. Hypercomplex cells respond to light bars as well. However, these cells respond differently to lines of certain lengths. Each other signals that tell us which stimuli are part of a figure versus the background. When cells receive information from neighbors or from higher up cells that they are responding to, stimuli that are part of the figure, they respond more strongly than when they receive information that they are responding to part of the background. In this way, the V1 is able to tell us what to focus on as we look at the scene, and is also able to tell us the orientation, direction of movement, and length of various stimuli. The primary visual cortex is also useful when putting together information from the 2 eyes. In the LGN, information from each eye is separated out into different layers, and the V1 is where this information must converge. One concept important to the convergence is binocular disparity. This is the concept that the retinas of each eye are placed differently on the head and therefore have slightly different images of the world. The closer an object is to the viewer, the more disparity between the images there will be. Cells in the V1 are tuned to certain amounts of binocular disparity, so the brain is able to relay information about how close an object is by which cells respond. This is important because it allows us to have good depth perception, which is vital for interacting with the world around us. Without depth perception, it would be difficult for us to move around and interact with objects around us. As we all know, and as shown in the image, neurons send signals to each other through neurotransmitters. In the V1 specifically, various studies have found that visual stimuli result in an increase in glutamate. One study found that visual stimuli cause less GABA in the V1, but other studies have not found the same result. Overall, the primary visual cortex allows us to perceive the world around us. This is done by interpreting information about stimulus size, direction of movement, and orientation. It helps us distinguish between a foreground and a background. The V1 also helps us with depth perception so that we can interact effectively with our environment. Thank you for watching.